How's it going, y'all? Today I'm going to show you how to make a pouch. This is going to be a much more in-depth pouch than the last one I made. This one's actually going to be a Scottish sporran. So let's get into it. So as far as materials go, you're going to need some paper to make these templates I made right here. I'm going to try to turn these into a PDF file so that way you can download them. And you're also going to need a lot more leather than last time. This is I'm not sure, just upholstery leather, I think. You could probably take leather jackets apart and use that. You're also going to need thicker leather. This is I think it's like veg tan leather. That's what they call it. These are already stained though. You're also going to need a needle and thread. Same one I used last time. And some leather string. Now as far as tools go for this project, you're going to need a tape measure, kind of like this, a flexible one, and a ruler. You're going to need one of these. I believe they're called deburring tools or something like that. You're also going to need the small hole punch, something like a Sharpie or marker to mark with, the size adjustable hole puncher, scissors, and a hammer or rubber mallet. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this template and I'm going to put it on the thin leather, and we're just going to trace around it. Like so. And I'm going to do 2 of these. Alright, so now that we've got these, it's kind of hard to see, we've got them traced out, we're going to cut them. And once you got both of these cut out, they should look something like this. So the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to take this tape measure and we're going to measure this around here. And it came out to about 18.5 inches for me. I'm going to do 19 just to spare a little bit, so that way there's room for mistakes. I didn't make a template for this, but you don't really need to. All you have to do is take however long this part of your pouch is and measure it across here, and then go across this way by about between 3.5 and 5 inches, depending upon how wide you want your bag to be. Now we're going to take this template and the thick leather, and we're going to mark this out with the pen. And it's going to go ahead and cut this out as well. That should look something like this. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to take off the edges right here to help make the edges a little bit smoother. There we go, now it's edged. So this is another optional step. I might not even put it in the video, but I'm going to take this stuff, I'm going to do this in here, and we're going to take it and we're going to the second notch from the top, and we're going to just go along here like that. This is going to help keep the edge smooth. Oh, it's still going. So the last thing I'm going to cut out is this piece right here, and I'm going to do that on the thick leather as well, the red stuff. We're just going to trace around it and cut it out. It's going to look kind of like this. I'm going to do the same thing I did to the other red piece. I'm going to use this tool and dip it in the goop. I also went ahead and cut out a 6 3/4 by 1.5 inch piece of the red leather. This is going to be our little loop to hold it on our belt. These are all the pieces you should have at this point cut out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the black pieces, whichever one I want to be the back, and I'm gonna measure the center point at the top. I'm also gonna find the center point in this right here as well. Roughly about there. Okay. I'm gonna make two little marks right there, one on the top and one on the bottom, and I'm gonna draw down to get this little line in the middle. I measured at the top and I drew a dot there, and I measured at the bottom and I drew a dot there in the center point, and I just drew a line down this way. And for this next part, I'm going to use the same piece of cardboard I did in my last video. I'm just going to flip it over and use that side. Okay, so now I'm going to line up the center parts of both of these, and I'm going to punch a hole through both. Right about here. And now you can go ahead and put a nail or a copper rivet through the hole and just kind of fit this in and figure out what you want it to be. And then you can start punching your holes to sew this part in. I'm going to go ahead and put copper rivets in the corners right here as well to help keep it in place. If you don't have copper rivets, you can just use nails. Since I have the copper rivet right here, this one I actually am going to use, so I'm going to kind of have to punch some holes around it. And that's that for this part. I'm going to take these two copper rivets out. I'm actually going to end up using this one. I'm going to take this piece right here, and I'm going to punch two holes here and a hole up here in the middle. And the hole up there in the middle is going to go right here. So I'm going to end up holding this together with the copper rivets, and this is gonna be what you hold it to your belt with. I went ahead and made the holes on these a little bit bigger after I punched them, just so that way the needle and thread could fit through. And now I'm going to do a small little knot on the opposite end of the string, the side that doesn't have the needle. It's the kind of knot that can shrink when you pull on it. And once you've got both your first pieces through, you're going to loop it and tighten the knot. And the knot will tighten itself like that. And now I've sewed it all together, and I'm just gonna do about 3 or so knots right here to help stop it from falling off. I'm gonna take the hole puncher and I put it on the second to smallest setting, and I'm gonna punch a hole right in the middle of this piece. And this is gonna go at the same spot this is right here. I'm gonna put this through here, the copper rivet, and I'm going to place it through here. There we go. It's going to help hold that on. I'm going to put 2 more, one here and one here. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Oh, and then it's going to end up looking something kind of like this right here. So how a copper rivet works basically is you have this piece and you have this piece right here, the piece that's right here like this. And I'm going to put the nail style piece through here. I'm going to put the little ring on top. And there's a specialized tool for this, but I'm going to use a paper clip. I'm going to put it through this little spring part, and I'm just going to hit down. And there you have it. That's how the copper rivets work. And then you just want to cut them. It's a little bit too much. I'm going to go hit these with a ball peen hammer real quick. So I went ahead and I changed the shape of this piece right here. And I did the same thing to the edges and all that I did to this piece right here. Now we're going to take this piece right here, the red one, and we're going to attach it to this front black piece right here. And we're going to want to put it roughly somewhere in the middle. probably a little closer to the bottom, like millimeters. What I'm looking for right here is to see how this comes over. I think this looks about good. And once again, I'm just going to take these copper rivets are some short nails, and I'm going to poke them through here to help hold it in place. I ended up taking the hole puncher and just punching small little holes right here to fit the rivets in. We're going to take our small hole punch again and our hammer, and we're going to do the same. And now we're going to take our small hole punch and our hammer and do the same thing we did on that other red piece. Just going to punch all the holes. So now what I'm going to do before I finish punching the holes in this top piece right here is I'm going to actually start sewing it. Now that I've got the needle on the thread, I also expanded the holes a little bit on these so that way they'd fit. And I'm just going to sew it up. Now I'm going to keep punching the holes. I'm probably actually going to use this. I used the second to smallest setting on this, just because it's a little bit quicker. And now I'm just going to tie a couple knots on the end right here. There we go, like that. Guys, and this is a step I should have done before I sewed this on, but I punched 4 holes as big as I could with the adjustable hole puncher, and I'm going to put some of these grommets right here, some copper ones. I got these little grommets from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to use this little grommet tool right here. This little you see the pointy part sticking out on the right side? That needs to go on the back of the grommet. And boom, that sucker's in. And you just want to do that with all 4 of them. And now it's time to sew the main body together. I'm going to take this piece I had, this long piece in the middle, and I'm going to start sewing this piece and this piece together. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 2 sides we want to be on the outside, and we're going to put them together. That'll have our inside material on the outside. And I'm just going to start punching holes and sewing it up. I think I'm going to start using this hole puncher instead of using this one for now. I'm going to see how that works, because I like this one, but this one has a small setting on it too, and I'm using thick string, so this will probably do better. I can close pin it as well right here. I am going to start sewing as I punch the holes and see how that goes. And I'm basically just gonna sew this part up like I have everything else. The rounded edges can be tricky when doing a pouch like this. Just make sure that the two edges are always aligned, and it should come out fine. I'm just going to tie it off at the end right here. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this side right here. And we're going to flip it inside out once it's done. And once again, you can put clips right here. And I'm just going to do the exact same thing I did with the first side. You can see there was a little excess leather here on this piece, so I'm just going to cut it down to the size it needs to be. There we go. And now I'm just going to flip it right side out. So now I'm going to take the hole puncher, this big one, and I'm going to set it to the biggest setting, and I'm going to punch about between 6 and 8 holes all along the rim of the front here, so that way I can drawstring it closed. I'm going to do 2 on the sides right here as well, and I'm going to do 1 on either side of the back as well. And now I'm going to take this right here and some more grommets, and I'm going to put the grommets in each one of the holes. Alright, so I realized I needed to do 4 more grommets, so I put 2 more in the back right here, see the silver ones? And I put 2 more in the front right here, the gold ones. And now we're going to take our leather string. Black would look better, but all I have is the brown right now. So I'm going to go from the inside. I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to start on the gold one, and I'm going to make my way through that way. Alright, and once you've got all your leather sewn through the grommets, I went ahead and left about this much, so maybe about 3 or 3.5 inches or so. I'm going to cut this at the exact same spot. And then I'm just going to tie a little knot at the end. And there you have it. Now you got the drawstring mechanism. That way it closes up. I am going to add a little bit more though. I'm going to put a button here, and I'm going to put some string through here so that way I can close it as well. I cut off about a 13-inch piece of the leather string, and now I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it through here. And then I'm going to come out the bottom. And now I'm going to put a button. This is just a placeholder button. I'm going to get something different eventually. I'm going to put the button here so that way this can loop over and it'll close. And since this is not the button I'm going to use, I'm just going to show you. You just punch a couple of holes and then sew the button in. And then you'd have your mechanism, and you'd pull these strings down. You'd want to knot these as well right here on the ends. And you just pull that down, and boom, it would hold it in place. Thank you guys so much for bearing with me. This is the first time I've ever done a sporran of this design right here. I hope you guys liked it. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what kind of cool stuff y'all would like to see me make in the future. And in the meantime, peace out, y'all.